Now, this kind of looks like my butt.
Hold on for a second. What does pizza have to do with philosophy? Well, I'm going to be making pizza using philosophy.
We're starting with Descartes' rationalism. I think, therefore I am. He believed the senses were unreliable and only our reasoning was a reliable source of knowledge. He thought we had innate understandings of the world as well.
So I'm going to be making a pizza using a recipe solely based on my own reasoning, and I'm not going to change the recipe in any way if it feels, smells, or looks like a piece of shiitake is quite expensive. Wow. I made a recipe based solely on my own reasoning, and I reasoned that a pizza needs tomato sauce, cheese, and dough, and it needs to be cooked.
For my dough, I'm going with 150 grams of flour with 100 grams of water and then some yeast. This looks like a piece of doo-doo.
Now, I was gonna give this a taste test later, and I'm really hoping it doesn't taste like.
Shindig is a word used for large and lively parties, and what better food than pizza for a party? Which is why we're going to be making another pizza, but now with Hume's empiricism.
Hume's empiricism is in stark contrast to Descartes' rationalism, where Hume believes that all of our knowledge is dependent upon sense experience. So this time we're going to be making a pizza using only our senses and knowledge that I have from my prior experience.
I'm mixing whatever ingredients or amounts feel and look right to me, so I'm not going to be using yeast because my senses don't tell me it's necessary and I had no prior experience with it. I'm going with 500 degrees again, but this time I'll just keep an eye on it and pull it out when it seems about right. Whereas for the Descartes pizza, I already put in the recipe that I'm only going to cook it for 10 minutes. Ooh, that is
Really
hot. Okay. These are my two pizzas. This is the Descartes pizza. This is the Hume pizza. Ooh, that is crunchy. I'm gonna try. Get a slice here. I don't know if I should have swallowed that. Ooh. Oh, this one actually tastes better. Okay, so for this pizza, I'm going to be mixing my methods from my previous two pizzas. I'm going to use the recipe I made for my Descartes pizza while listening to my senses and using my prior experiences from just what I've learned from making these past two pizzas. So I'm hoping this one goes the best. Is this too much yeast? How much yeast do you put in? Wait, what? You're supposed to dissolve this in water first? Well, too late now. Now it's time to actually make this pizza. Our dough. It's pretty stuck on here. I feel like it got stickier when I let it sit.
Kant's compromise acts as a middle ground between Descartes' rationalism and Hume's empiricism. Kant believed that our senses provide us experience and sensation, but our knowledge from this experience often extends beyond what the senses provide. In this way, we do use our senses and experiences, but also rely on our reasoning to create more structure in our ideas. The Descartes pizza was overcooked and tasted really floury, whereas the Hume pizza was undercooked and still extremely doughy. The Kant pizza was probably the worst because I put in way too much yeast and I forgot it was in the oven. However, there are multiple takeaways from this experience that speak to the practicality of different philosophies. Descartes' rationalism says that we can't rely on our sensory impressions, because after all, we could be living in the Matrix. So instead, we have to be reliant on our innate knowledge and power to reason things out. How do I know the pizza that went into the oven is the same pizza that came out? The pizza that came out is slightly larger, darker colored, and the smell is completely different. Well, Descartes says it's because of our power to reason that we know that the pizza that went in is the pizza that came out, even though our senses might detect otherwise. But how did I know that cooked dough is a darker color or if it expands? Or that cheese hardens when cooked and develops a smell? Was it my reasoning? Or did I already have sensory experiences with watching dough or cheese get cooked? Descartes' rationalism is extremely contingent on how much innate knowledge we really have as humans. Hume would say that we build upon our sensory impressions and learn through experience. Thus, I knew what would happen to my pizza when I cooked it because I had prior experience with cooking. However, my Hume pizza looked thoroughly cooked even though it was really doughy, because I only cooked it for as long as it took for the outside appearance to seem cooked. This is a demonstration of how our senses aren't consistently reliable. This is where Kant's compromise comes into play, because he believed that rationalism and empiricism were interdependent. You need your experiences and senses as much as you need your reasoning and innate understandings. You know it's cooked because you've seen things get cooked. You've had experiences with cooking. But you also determine and understand the necessary conditions for something to be cooked based on reasoning. You reason the order of events that need to take place. You reason the causality. My Kant compromise pizza didn't go very well. You could say that it wasn't exactly a pizza cake. However, that doesn't change the fact that from a philosophical and practical standpoint, Kant's compromise is the most sensible as a middle ground between rationalism and empiricism. That about wraps it up. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep, and thanks for watching.